Oh man. Well, we was trying to come at you live, but Big Buck didn't hit the record button, so Nick had to help me out on that. So thankfully we got Nick here today in the studio. Well, coming at you live with your boy Big Buck. We back in the thing in the 601 with Nick Klep. What's happening with it, cuz?
Look, big dog, you doing all right?
Oh, I'm doing fine, just like wine. Look, I got this new shirt. Y'all let all see. That's that's that after hours, the weekend. Popped that out at Hot Topic yesterday. Got 3 for $55. That's a blessing. Go ahead. I'm down to extra large now, bro.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I'm getting somewhere.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I'm getting somewhere. Man, what's been going on since we last talked?
It's been a couple weeks. Not too much. I went to not a firing range, but I went to a personal buddy of mine's house and practiced with my firearm. I went and saw mom and dad. We sang back at home, which was nice. So they came and saw me.
Right.
And mom come and spent the night this week, like a couple days ago. Cleaned the whole house.
Uh-oh.
And I don't know why. When I'm alone, can't clean. Mom will come over, that whole freaking house spotless.
Come on.
Oh, it was nice.
Look like Cinderella about to get ready to go to the ball.
Dude, we did everything mop. I tell you what, we got it all done.
Hey, it's all right. I need to sweep and mop too. It's been a minute. I need to sweep and mop, but hey, I just didn't got back all night, so it's a little hectic right now, but it's all right. We gonna rock and roll and we gonna get it going. Mm-hmm. Shoot, man. Well, this Sunday is Father's Day, man,
yes.
And there's a lot of people in the world that got fathers as well as don't got fathers. They had to be their own fathers as well as mama. Dear mama, Tupac said,
oh, yeah.
Mama had to be the father as well as the mama. What would you like to talk about your father?
Well, when I was younger, it was really hard for me to emotionally connect with my daddy because his father didn't with him. His father was, abusive and wasn't there most of the time and stuff like that. And instead of letting it affect him acting like that, he chose the high road. And my dad, he's very stoic. He hides his emotions. His smile, mad, and sad face is all the same.
All the same
Tomcat. We call him Tomcat, by the way.
Tomcat.
So anytime I'm referring to my daddy, it's Tomcat.
Tomcat. I'm proud.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so he's always just straight faced. And you can't ever read him. But mama can. I don't know how, but mama can. I can never read him.
She been with him long enough.
Dude.
She been with him long enough. Hey, look. Every woman can read that man that she loves.
But my goodness, if we had to read a woman, unless she wrote it in a book for us.
You can't read no woman because women are, hey, look, women are a mystery. We'll never understand women. So we just going to say, yeah, all right. Yes, your baby. Yes, sir. That's all we can do.
Exactly, man. I remember as a kid, he didn't spank us a whole lot because he worked offshore. So he was gone 7 to 7. So half the time he was gone. I still loved him. It was just he wasn't there,
Right, he wasn't there he was in the picture, but he wasn't there when he needed to be.
Yeah.
Might have missed a couple birthdays, a couple football, baseball games, a lot of family events. And, I can feel that, man, because at the same time, we from different places, but that happens all around the world. There's some times where fathers don't pick up where they should have, or they're trying to work to provide for the family, and sometimes that work does get in the way.
That was his thing.
Yeah. And it's hard. It's a hard balance. It's kind of hard to find that equilibrium, But I can understand what you're going through, man, because I went through the same thing. My sisters, they always try to say, "Oh, well, Dad was there," and I was like, "Well, I can tell you this. I can remember probably maybe three or 5 times in my life where Dad was probably really there in the picture. Maybe he came and picked me up a few times, took me to the city. We call New Orleans the city.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Nolans.
Oh, Nolans.
But no, I can remember him picking me up sometimes and going place to place. But the main thing was I really wanted that interaction with him.
Yeah.
Every time that he picked me up, it was more of him taking me to a cousin's house or maybe one of his friends' house that said it was my relative, but that's not what I wanted. I wanted that father-son time. Right. And there was some times where he wanted to go fishing or whatnot, but I was just like, nah, I don't think that's what I want to do. That just wasn't my kind of interaction, I think he knew I liked wrestling. And man, I just lost my dad. It'll be a year once. I think Ida came through in August. I think that's when it came through. I really can't remember because hurricane season gets crazy and tornadoes and brrr. But it'll be a year I think around August since he's been gone, and I don't have no resentment towards the man. Now I wish he would have done a better job as a father, but you know what? Look at me now. I'm doing the best that I can, and that's all I can ever do. You know, because even though he might have failed at some parts, I picked up the pieces and I kept on going.
Yeah.
And that's the main thing that you got to do.
Yep.
You know, like you said, your grandfather wasn't the best with his with your father, but whenever it comes time for you to have children that the Lord blesses you with, then you can pick up those pieces that they left behind.
Oh yeah, it's funny because when I was young, when I was, you know, I guess naive, father to me looked like what you see on TV and what you see other kids' daddies have, this and that. And then when I hit about 15, 16, so I realized what money and responsibility was and obligations and being irresponsible with them, I realized the money my daddy was making. I was like, if he's making this much money, why aren't we, you know?
Right, why don't we have more? This? Why can't we go here?
Yeah.
Why ain't we got these nice things?
Thank you, yeah. And it hit me. I was like, they've been going through so much simply because of where they started. So Mama was 17, Daddy was 19, and I was born when they both were a year later, so 18 and 20. And they had a rocky start at the relationship at first, and they fought hard. And I think my dad literally picked up everything and left. And for 18 years, he worked offshore. But even though he probably didn't want to at first, he went out there and he started from just nothing. And then when he retired, he was a driller. And so there wasn't many people above him. And he never really got angry at us. I think he whooped us just a handful of times.
Right.
And one day, only day I was ever scared of my father. He came into Matthew's room, my younger brother, and Matthew was a hellion.
No, not that.
No, dude, I'm telling you right now, better be glad I wasn't any older than I was. I'd have beat that boy back in blue. Oh, my goodness. The boy was a hellion. So Daddy come in there one time, and he just could not take Matthew's crap anymore. But instead of actually hitting Matthew or doing anything to Matthew or me, he took a hammer, and he put a hole through the floor that he pays for. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
And he put a hole through it, and he looked up at Matthew, and he just dropped the hammer. And I'm like, I got my room locked it down. I was like, not me.
He said, not me.
Not me.
Not today. Not today.
And so my daddy, I just saw it in his eyes. And after that day, I don't think my daddy's like ever raised his hand at either one of us. Simply because he wanted to let us know. He was like, I'm telling you right now, you have it 1,000 times better than I did.
Right.
He goes, I will not hurt you. I will not put my hands on you anymore. He said, you're going to have to learn on your own.
Right.
And I was like, from then on, I've had that approach as far as, you know, being a father figure or being a role model to somebody. And what I'm going to do to my kids is you don't necessarily have to put your hands on somebody for them to understand, like, look, like, I mean business.
Right.
You know?
100%. You're correct.
Oh, yeah.
I tell people all this time, you know, we growing up in the age where you go to school, you don't get no whooping.
No.
Man.
That's ridiculous.
When I went to elementary school and you act ass up in class, you getting that ass whipped. Hashtag Miss Joy. Miss Joy gonna whip that butt. Miss Joy Moore gonna whip that butt. She said she got that paddle. She asked everybody in the hall, if her paddle broke, she gonna go find another paddle to spank it. I promise you, Miss Joy gonna get it done. And then all them babies gonna come back in there crying. Look like that emoji y'all like to use on Snapchat. But that's 100% correct though. You know, nowadays we growing up where kids don't get spanked or really disciplined anymore like we used to, as well as our fathers and grandparents do.
Yeah.
And there are definitely, I guess you would say, limitations to discipline where you don't have to go above and beyond as where some people like actually putting the hands on you. But I am a firm believer in disciplining as well as with that belt, you know, because it is definitely hard for a mother to raise a child. Because my mom, she raised not only me, but my brother, and we were both 10 years apart. And my mom, she was a teacher from 86 all the way to 04. So, you know, that like up in the Kentwood, Tensboro Parish community, that was a long time, you know, just to be traveling from Chesbro to Kentwood High School, Sumner High.
Is that how you say it? Chesbro?
Yeah, Chesbro. We call it cheese, bro.
No.
Yeah, they got the cheese touch.
Is it not pronounced as Chesbro?
What did I say?
You said Chesbro.
I say Chesbro.
You said Chezbro. You said Chesbro.
Well, Chesbro. That's what we call it.
Chess bro.
Chess bro. I bet you everybody know it.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I done sang there like 4 or 5 times.
Everybody in Kenwood would say cheese bro, chess bro. Like, go on over around the corner about chess bro. They ain't got nothing over there. But nah, chess bro, all right. They ain't too bad. I met some nice
I hate to interrupt you. I'm so sorry. Keep going.
No, you're good. You're good. No.
You got me with that.
Chess bro.
Cheese bro.
Chess bro.
I'm saying cheese bro now.
Hey, look, I'm telling you, they got the cheese touch. They got the cheese touch like off Diary of a Wicked Kid.
I don't think nobody from Chess bro watching this.
I don't know. They might do, but hey.
They got Wi-Fi out there.
Right. Out there in them sticks.
Dude, Mount Herman. And isn't it Mount Herman out there or Mount Vernon?
They do got a Mount Herman out there. But that's in Washington Parish. That's where they get the watermelons from.
Yeah. But, oh, man. That's the way I head to Franklinton if I'm in Kenwood. If I'm in Osaka, I just head down the state line and cut down and then hit the highway that comes right into where it forks at the school right there.
Right.
Cut left.
Turn left.
Like a NASCAR race. Left.
Like Blade McDaniel up in that NASCAR pit stop.
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, Blade McDaniel. I'm ready to see him race.
Dude, I've been here the whole time. Every time they're racing, I can't get over there.
I know. I told him, I said, boy, next time you racing, you better send me the date, like, in advance, like, whenever I'm off so I can go. Being a single parent mom, that's definitely hard for her, and as well as, like I said, not just raising me, but raising my brother. We're 10 years apart, and on a teacher's salary, teachers do not make the most at all, as well as they definitely didn't back then in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. They was not getting, they weren't getting their appreciation, and some of them they still don't today. But y'all give a hand clap out to the single mamas out there.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. Y'all give them out because something like I said, sometimes mamas had to play both roles. They had to put food on the table, had to tutor the kids, they had to study with the kids. They had to make sure that the kids had everything they needed to do to get to school and to be better, so that they wouldn't have to struggle like how they struggle. Because even though, like you said, your dad was wanting to let y'all know that y'all had it way better than a lot of other people, and then it might didn't look like it to us, because we were young, naive, and we didn't know any better. But when you get older, you said, oh man, mama and daddy, they really sacrificed this or that. Even though we didn't have the Wii, we didn't have the PlayStation 3, we didn't get to have the Wii Fit Sports, we didn't have the
Wii Fit Sports.
I remember when the Wii came out, and I was just like, no, that is not something I want.
I love the Wii now.
No, I still don't like the Wii.
All I do is flick my wrist.
No, there ain't no flicking of the wrist for Buck. I don't like all that. No, I don't like all that. Hunter Hayden had a Wii. That's the first person I ever knew that had a Wii. Hunter Hayden. Shout out to him and Draylon. They some good parents out there. They got them 2 kids, them Darlings. But no, Hunter had a Wii. I think he had like Mario Olympics on that thing. It was like,
what did Mario vs. Sonic, like Olympics?
I think it might have been something like that. Yeah. I wasn't that good at it. I
didn't got to play it,
so I didn't get to play.
Me either.
But I didn't really want to play. I wanted to go jump on hay bales outside of his house. His daddy be out there on the tractor making hay bales. Well, I'd be jumping on hay bales.
You come back in itching. What you doing?
Right. Oh, Don and Danny, they say, boy, that boy sure can eat. Yeah, I sure can. Hey, but you know what? I enjoyed those times.
Oh, yeah.
And, every family, they go through their ups and downs, but just know you just got to keep pushing on. No matter if y'all's fathers are there or isn't there, you just have to do what's best for you. Sometimes it does, you get down in the mood, you get like, why isn't my dad here? Does he not love me? Does he not care for me? Well, it's not that. Like, most of the time, as Nick said, it's really more of a, I guess you would say, a family thing, because his dad didn't do it to him, and so on and so on. It's kind of like that post-traumatic trauma, Sometimes you just it's like a continuous cycle. And if it never gets fixed, it's just going to be a continuous cycle. Right. If you can't never break that cycle and that chain, and it gets bad, bro.
Yeah, understandable. And not trying to down talk my dad.
Oh, no. It's and that's one thing. We're not down talking nobody's daddy. We're not down talking our daddies. It's the thing of learning from what they went through, where they were, where they overachieved, and where they failed at, so that we as young adults can be better.
Yeah.
That we can be better, because they do bad, they did good, as well as we do today. And like me and Nick, we ain't no fathers for sure. I mean, there might be a couple people say Uncle Buck, Uncle Nick, but that's about it. That we father figures to people, you know. We fatherly figures. We ain't no daddies yet. The Lord ain't blessed us yet. But whenever that time comes, we gonna do it right. We gonna do what's capable of us.
Yes, sir.
And if we feel like we don't know what to do, we gonna go ask the Lord. He gonna help.
There you go.
He gonna help you for sure.
Oh, I can't wait to have kids, bro. I walk up in there like, I'm the pappy.
I'm the pappy. I'm the pappy. That damn.
Everybody see, that ain't my baby, boss.
We was watching the Players Club. Me and my friend T Pope the other day, and sure enough, he was like, "Man, Big Buck, I miss Bernie Mac." I said, "Bro, Bernie Mac died too young."
Absolutely. Fathers that aren't fathers, father figures,
right.
and role models and leaders. I've got like, in my mind, in my heart, I for sure have two that have just always been there for me, as well as like mothers that aren't mine. So like Randall's mama, Mama Pam. We literally called her Mama Pam.
Mama Pam.
That's what I addressed her as everyone else. I just called her Mama when I saw her.
Right.
I didn't call her anything else but Mom.
Right.
And whenever her and my mom were together, I had to say Mama Nikki and Mama Pam, or they didn't know who I was talking to. And same thing with like father figures is there's a few that I literally just call, "What's up, Dad?" or like, "What's up, Pop?"
Right.
That's it. And because even though they're not my father, biologically, I can see the work they're putting in, the love that they show, the effort and the responsibilities that they carry. And the old school man, you know, carried a lot on their shoulders, so much so that a lot of men did not live up to that expectation. And that's what caused, I think, this generation of mothers that were just by themselves, and even fathers that were by themselves, because women didn't want them because of how they acted.
Right.
Because they were just so hardcore and like, "Why don't you tell me how you feel? Why don't you ever cry? Why don't you ever want to go to these things? Why don't you ever want to do this?" It's because the responsibility of men has been going up and up and up and up. And, you know, and I'm all for equality, and more importantly, I'm all for equity in some senses, for women and men to share the load.
Right.
Because in the Bible it says you're supposed to be my help me. You're supposed to help me.
Right. Help me.
You know what I'm saying? And so, as a man, there's responsibilities, you know, my pride wants me to take care of. And there's also things I know I need to let go. I need to let my wife handle. I need to let my friends help me with. You know, there's things like I need to be able to let go. And in this generation, I hope our age of cats will learn to understand that telling people how you feel
don't make you weak.
No, it don't. It could save your life. It could save other people's lives.
Right.
It could mean the world to somebody.
Right.
Simply because they opened up one time.
Exactly, because you opening up opens the door for so many others. Because you're not the only one going through that trial and tribulation and that obstacle. Somebody else down the road, around the country, might be right down the street. Sure enough, they're going through the same thing you're going through.
Or in your household.
Right. But nobody is opening it up about the situation. So it just stays secluded, as well as I'm forgetting the word besides secluded, but detained, I guess you would say.
Detached. The feelings stay detached and isolated.
Yeah, isolated. It just, everyone just stays secluded and isolated from the whole situation, from the topic itself. And so that's just never good. But you're 100% correct. I really do hope that it does. And it's funny that you said that about feelings. I worked at Channel Control, like I told you. That's not the place to work. At 8 1/4, 2020, that ain't the spot. That ain't the work. Man, I tell you, they gave a woman a certificate for being there for 15 years. She still worked on the assembly line. 15, 19 years, I think. Said, "Here you go, congratulations." And I said, "Baby, no, you wildin'." But no, there was this one dude named Fly Guy. And we'd be like, "What's happening, Fly Guy?" And Fly Guy be like, "Well, nothing much." Fly Guy, he definitely seemed like one of them old brothers that had been locked up for a little minute, you
Yeah.
know. And so, because he surely talked about, he said, man, you got some of them zuzus and zang-zangs and stuff like that. And I was like, what's all that? And he said, that's what we called it up in the yard. And I said, okay. So he just talking about snacks and candies and stuff. Yu-Yus and Yahas and zing-zangs. And man was coming up with all types of stuff. But to the whole point of what I'm talking about, Fly Guy, you said about feelings and emotions. And he said, feelings? Men ain't got no feelings. The women got feelings and emotions. And I was like, no, that's not true. Because, I mean, you feel happy, don't you? You do feel sad at some time.
You get mad.
You get mad. You get angry. But see, that's the thing. A lot of older generation people want to conceal that emotion because they don't want to show weakness, which, like we said, it's not a weakness. It's just, I guess it's just that generational thing where they just didn't do that. That's how mom and dad or whoever they looked up to in life said this is how a man's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But that ain't really always true. There's nothing wrong with a man crying because Big Buck does cry from time to time. You know, like this shirt on weekend, he bleeding, but Big Buck be crying tears sometimes. Lonely teardrops. But no, it does. There's nothing wrong with showing emotion because trust me, it takes a true man to cry as well as to open up to somebody. But how you mentioned father figures as well as mother figures that played that role, man. Oof, man, there's too many for me. Besides my mom, like I say, but my mom's top tier. Like she above the camera. Look, I can't even get no higher because I'm just short.
I got you, Buck.
Oh, it's up there. It's up there like Dr. J. Bam, put the arm in the rim like Vince Carter. But no, Mama Buck, she went above and beyond, you know. Mama, she'd always tell me, she said, boy, why don't you just stay still? You always want to go here. You always want to go there. I was like, well, I'm bored. I want something to do. But sure enough, I understood. I didn't understand at that time, but I came to realize, like, you know, you can't just be going anywhere and everywhere when you want to just because you want to. Because that's just not the way the world reflects and rotates. But my mom, I would say, my mom is the best. No other mom above her just because that's my mom. So shout out to old Carolyn Yvonne Buckley. I said the whole name. That's how much special you is. That's how much special you is. That's that English grammar we talked about.
Yeah.
But no, man, shout out to Rachel Buckley. Go ahead, go to the white side, not the black side Buckley, but the white side Buckley. She put me on some of that white gravy as a young child. I had never had white gravy until I went over to her house.
What?
Oh yeah, I never had it, man.
How you think I got this big, man? Mama been cooking that since day one.
Shoot, Rachel Buckley, she whipped up that white gravy, and I said, oh, that stuff is good. Go ahead and fix me some more. Rachel Buckley, I would say, her husband Trey, as well as his brother Trinity, because I mean I remember when I think it must have been Kaylin's eighth birthday party, his 8-year-old birthday party, and he invited me over, and I couldn't swim, but sure enough, everybody was like, before you leave here, you gonna learn how to swim. And I started out learning to swim up in the pool. And then, sure enough, Mike McKelvin, I don't know if y'all remember this, because I know it was like Trey, Trinity, and Mike McKelvin all out there. And they was like, boy, you looking in that water, you gonna jump in? We weren't talking about the pool, we was talking about the pond then. Sure enough, you looking in that water, you gonna jump? I said, nah, I can't see down there. Sure enough, Mike McKelvin throw me in that water, and I said, oh, I'm gonna tell my mama on you, Mr. Mike. He said, go ahead and tell her, because you're gonna learn how to swim today. And I show you, I learned how to swim in that pond. And every day after that, I sure enough ran to the pond. Say, forget the pool, let's go swimming in the pond. Let's go swimming in the pond. Man, John McKelvin, but shout out to old Coach John, because I mean, Coach John, he was there wasn't just a time where Coach John was coming to me before or after or during a football game, be like, all right, Buckley, this is what you need to do. This is what you need to do. Talking to me. There was tons of times where I would just come to Coach John's house, and I don't even just, besides calling him Coach John, I call him Uncle John, you know, that we just family. He coached me in football from I think about third grade till about fifth, as well as me and his kids, as well as his nephews, played ball together all the way until about high school. So we lived right down the road from each other. We was just like a big family out there on the Dollar Road, and so he just always gives you a good life lesson about, don't matter if it's sports, life, uh, politics, whatever it may be. Coach John, Uncle John, shout out to you, man. Working on them poles, bro. Working on them AT&T poles, man. That's a hard job in this hot heat. I hope you staying cool, buddy. Hope you staying cool.
Yeah,
man. The list could go on because there's just so many.
That's why I didn't start. I'd be here all day.
Like I tell people all the time, superheroes. They'd be like, "Who's your favorite superhero?" Man, you just don't know. We humans are superheroes from time to time because we go above and beyond doing things that we don't have to. I'm sure, Nick, you the same way. There's tons of things that you didn't want to do, but you sure enough did for somebody, even though they might didn't help you out when you needed it, but you still did it just because that was the nice thing to do, as well as you just wanted to be courteous and sincere. That's just the way it goes sometimes.
Well, it's funny because there's so many people that I look up to, but not everybody can get it right.
Oh no,
and
can't.
It's funny because I think this new generation of father that we're going to be looking at here soon is men that are in touch with their emotions, how they feel, and what they're going through, like the weight they carry, but also able to keep it in check. Mm-hmm. Not crying at every waking moment or whatever.
Right.
And not always just, well, I don't feel like going to do anything today. And then the next day, being bipolar and whatnot. And going back on what you're saying, I think there's no way you can be perfect, but to be who you want to be, the more you dwell in your emotions, the more you dwell in your emotions, and the more you express yourself and work through things and work with your children, work with your wife, work with your friends, and really try to stay consistent on who you want to be, then I think whenever something happens, you're cool, calm, and collected. I think you'll understand just naturally how to work with it. We all have a fight or flight response, and most people think it's just when like there's emergency or danger that your body naturally reacts. If you put yourself in situations like that at multiple levels, your body will naturally react. Your parasympathetic in your brain will naturally react to multiple different situations. Like when I'm at work, when something happens that involves a child, I go into a certain mode and I operate on that level and never let it ride. Don't ever let myself get upset.
Right.
And when there's a fight involved, I up that level and I stay on that level. Do not come down. Do not go up. Stay open. I stay at that level and I operate there because I've handled it for over a year and a half constantly. Right. And so my daddy told me something like that because when he worked offshore, he told me, I asked him, I was like, when do blowouts happen? Oh, they happen all the time. What? And he was like, yeah, they happen a good bit. Now, not the big fire ones you're thinking about, like when oil and mud come back up, there's too much pressure, and they do the let off and all the oil shit at the top. That happens a good bit.
Right.
Especially the mud on the deck, like it happens. But like when my uncle died of BP oil spill. He was one of the 11 that passed away. That was my dad's half brother. But they grew up together, so it's my dad's brother.
Right.
And he said stuff like that rarely happens. He said the only reason that happened was because of some technicalities and this and that, and just freak thing happened.
Right.
And
just some freaks of nature.
Yeah. And so I'm talking to my dad. My dad he said it in a way, and I interpreted it differently. And so if you operate underneath a certain amount of pressure, you won't be able to succeed. Just like diamond. Like if diamond's not put under a lot of heat and a lot of pressure, it will not crystallize and make the way it is. So in life, you're going to get put through a lot of pressure. You're going to put through a lot of heat. And if you can't handle it, you need to back up. You need to reevaluate. And you need to go back in. You cannot walk away. There's only one way, and it's forward.
Right.
If you look back, you're just losing progress. You're losing ground.
100%.
And so if there's a lot of things you need to stay in. Now, on the flip side, there's always two sides to a coin. And I hate when I say something and immediately I think the opposite. Is because also there's some situations that people are putting themselves in. You know what I'm saying?
Right. That
themselves in.
Right. That they need to step back from.
Exactly. And so that's why you need to be cautious and slow down. I know life is so short.
Right.
It is but a vapor and it's gone. I understand that. But sometimes you just take a second and smell the roses. And if it smells like shit, you need to back up because that ain't roses.
Ooh, Outcast. Yes, indeed. Roses. That's a good one. If y'all ain't heard it, y'all need to check it out.
Yeah, I think a lot of good fathers have that down. And a lot of good father figures and leaders, whenever you can trust someone, it's because you see that their consistency stays on the line.
Right.
And that they handle situations differently. So after my father blew up, put a hole in the floor, he said, you know what? I'm past my limit. I'm done. He said, if my boys don't listen, there's consequences, and that's it.
Right.
He said, y'all too big to be whooping up on you. It's going to look like an accident. You know, that's what Mama Mama quit whooping us. Never mind. I ain't going to incriminate her on, television or anything. But anyway, but no, it got to a certain point that, boys, you got to learn, This is how the world works, and you either learn the easy way or the hard way.
Right.
And Big Nick started learning the hard way after high school. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, the hard way ain't fun.
No,
like they say, a hard head make a soft behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy. I tell you, it ain't fun. But yeah, man, you 100% correct, because on both sides of that coin, there are definitely times where you just need to continue to go forward and forward. But you have to make sure that you are taking the right steps and taking the right steps to get where you need to be, as well as when you are in that situation and you don't feel safe and comfortable, you don't like the outcomes of things that's going on around you. You might have to change that circle that you are surrounding yourself in. You might have to get out of that circle.
Yeah.
I know Steve Harvey one time said, he was like, everybody that's with you right now can't go with you. Like he was talking about, just like he said, man, there's so many high school friends I went to school with, and they asked about what I wanted to do, what they wanted to do after school, but they ain't where I'm at because they wasn't on the maturity level, or they wasn't trying to better themselves. They wasn't trying to reach a higher limit. They wasn't trying to progress themselves. And not only just, Steve Harvey, he's famous, but he was just saying, like, they're not trying to get any better. They're just trying to stay at that just little middle even spot. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that do that, but that's what brings them happiness. But there's always time for growth. Mm-hmm. There's always time for growth, no matter what we do in life,
know. But on different aspects too.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's not just monetarily with money. It's not just with what you have.
Right. It's about visions for yourself and about your future, as well as your health.
Yeah.
Because if you like I said, if you stay in that same circle of friends, or you stay in that same circle of people that's just, like, just say for high school, a lot of that, like, you see sometimes in movies, there's a lot of people that's been partying all throughout high school. They go to college and still partying, and like they get out of college and they still want to do all that partying and stuff. And there's nothing wrong with it. Y'all know Big Buck love to cut up. Big Buck love to jig and do that. But I'm 25 now. I can't be going to the Brown Doe. I can't be going to Kate Street.
I can't even go to the Brown Doe.
Man, the Brown Doe get Big Buck in trouble. Ask Rayla Hill. Ask Rayla Hill about it. She know all about it. Her and her man, I can't even go down to Hampton no more, because they just know, whoop, whoop, oh, Big Buck gonna be coming and it's gonna be trouble. But you just there's a time and a place for everything, and there's nothing wrong with having a good time once in a while, but you can't let that be every single day, every night, or every weekend, because like, even though we're not talking about just money, but just growth for yourself and your health, you can't always be going out to so-called have a good time, going spending money, trying to live life fast, because that ain't gonna get you nowhere. No. Because when you in your 20s, mid-20s, and you still living like you in high school, or acting like you in high school, that ain't cutting it, Jack.
No,
that ain't it. Now, don't we all sometimes wish we could go back when we ain't got to pay all these bills? Yeah. When we still was living under mama's roof for FREE. Yes. On. But hey, I tell you, that's one thing about growing up. It make a man out you. And you learn something from it. Because people always say, oh man, Buck, I hate working. I don't like to work, blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to tell you this. I don't mind working. I do enjoy work because me being 25, I've been blessed to now just get a credit card few weeks back, couple months, maybe about a month so now. I'm blessed to have this credit card. I'm blessed to have a debit card where I can have my financial status in order. I'm ahead of my rent. I'm ahead of bills.
Come on.
So that's a blessing. I'm
Yeah.
always thankful so that I can do what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but always know that I don't need to do everything that I want to do.
Exactly.
Because just because you want to do it don't mean you got to do it.
Yeah.
You know? It ain't always about what you want to do, but it's what you got to do. It's about the right thing, not the wrong thing.
Exactly. Yeah. If I meet people that I respected back in high school, and I see them now, and they haven't changed at all, one of two things has happened. One, they've made enough money to where they don't give a crap what people think, and they're going to act like they don't want to. Two, they haven't matured the least bit at all. And I mean, you can live your life the way you want to.
Right,
absolutely.
because the world is your oyster. And we ain't telling you how to live.
No.
We ain't telling you how to live not one bit, but we just giving you recommendations.
Shoot, I ain't giving you recommendations. I'm just telling you how cool my dad is. I'm telling you right now, I can't wait to have kids, man. I'm so excited. Jane's like, we're waiting at least 5 years after we get married. I was like, girl, you better be lucky if I don't poke a hole in the condom. You better be lucky. I want kids so bad, man. But I want to get my health in check first. Like, I know I missed the gym this morning. I'm so sorry.
Oh, man.
But my diet's been going good. Like, I'm not just sipping on tea. That's Gatorade. Like, I haven't been drinking any sodas. I'll have maybe 1 or 2 Gatorades a day, if that. All water, drinking at least half a gallon.
Okay.
As far as meals, I eat meat, lettuce. I may have some rice for my carbs every now and then. If I get something from work, it's either a salad with some chicken nuggets, or it's the half rice, half veggies with some chicken. Trying not to get the one with the least amount of sauce on them.
Mm-hmm.
Good to go. But a large water to drink water. Man, so the diet's been going good.
Hey,
but
good. Keep it up.
Oh, I'm trying.
Hey, look. Trust me. I've been telling.
If I can get up in the morning, I'm gonna come with you. I'm so sorry.
It's all right, man. I understand. It is hard. It's hard to get up in the morning.
Just change your sleep schedule.
Yeah, it's hard to change the sleep schedule. It is. I understand. Like, I shout out to all them people up in Kentwood and A-Meat that love to go to CrossFit at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning after they drop them kids off at school. If they don't take the kids with them. Some of them, they'll take the kids with them to CrossFit, and I'll be like, ain't no way I'm having them crumb snatchers come up to me while I'm working out and be like, Mama, Daddy, give me a juice box. Nuh-uh. Told Taylor and Jared, they be out there getting strong, lifting the kids. Boom, 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 lifting the kids up, getting swole with them. But no, you 100% correct, man. And that's good about the diet, bro. Just keep that up, man. I know, like I said, it's definitely hard to get up in that groove, but you just, once you get at it, it'll go. It's like when you're riding a bike. You know, you're gonna fall off a couple times. You're gonna scrape some knees and elbows, but hey, once you scrape enough, you're gonna stay on and you're gonna stay stable. But
well, I guess that's the next segue is working.
Yeah.
You know, trying to be a man that my grandfather and my great grandfather, because all four of them were alive at the same. All four of us were alive at the same time, and my great grandfather, my grandfather, my daddy, and me, and we even had siblings of my great grandparents alive, still do, and for some reason, I don't know about my daddy. My daddy seems pretty happy logging right now, and Papa Pete seemed very happy being a mechanic. He's a fine mechanic. I'm talking still taking transmissions apart, holding them in his hands at 80 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, Papa Terry, he was living a logger in an old rig, just like my daddy. That's my mama's grandfather. I don't consider the other one a grandfather. He's not there, but I think they settled. You know, they were good at something. They made a lot of money doing something. It fed the family. You know.
It gave them pleasure.
Yeah. It made them happy to see their family happy. But, you know, getting up at 4:30, 4 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning to head to Bogalusa, to head to Town, to head down to Wiggins not too long ago, head up to Boca Chica. Like, you know what I'm saying? That cannot be enjoyable living like that every day.
It's tough. It's tough.
On your body, on your mind, on your stomach, you know? Because I ain't going to say nothing, but it's just, I don't want to settle. You know, as a father, I want my children and my family to know that just because we're from Southwest Mississippi does not mean we have to settle for anything. We will be taking a trip at least once or twice a year.
Right.
Unless we're saving for something big.
Exactly. Unless we're saving for something bigger.
And my children may have some wants, but they will not have any needs. I don't care what I have to get rid of. Right. They will not need anything. They will always have what they need to have.
Need for nothing.
And my lineage, my father and his father and all them, they did that. And so the bare necessities is a given. If you're going to be a daddy to anybody, whether you're blood or not, you have to give the necessities. That's a prerequisite. That is a requirement to being a father. And if you can't even give that, this may not be the job for you. And some people aren't made for it. You know, before we go out there bashing people, I'm not about to bash anybody on this. If you're not made for it, you need to respect that, understand that. Either change or go be a bachelor. Go be a self-made millionaire, single guy or something. We need those people. I may not be one. I'm going to have me a family. I'll tell you that now.
Right.
And my children won't have any needs. They may have a few wants. Daddy, we want the PlayStation 17. I was like, when you go work at a chicken farm, like I had to go work at to get my PlayStation 3, and you can go have it. You know, like, stuff like that, you know, is understandable.
Right.
But, oh, man, I can't wait to have that new family dynamic. You know, me and Jaden, I'm tired of fist fighting Jaden. I want to teach my kids how to box, make them fight her.
That's funny.
Like, you know, my own little squad.
Hashtag whenever you and Jaden just play fighting, whatever, say, kids, attack.
Yeah.
They just jump on Jaden.
With the water boxing gloves.
Right. You remember them Hulk gloves?
Hulk smash!
Hulk smash.
We broke them.
Man, yeah, we did too.
I hit Matt one time so hard, boom, and it tore up, and I was like, he was like, nah. I was like, you're okay. Don't tell mama, because mama beat them. Woo!
My mama put a whooping on you.
I still flinch. She came over this week, and she bowed up with me. She's 5 foot nothing. I flinched. I was like, what you swinging, mama?
What you swinging for?
What you swinging for?
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, but then that's the thing is, I'm going to be a band director, a music teacher, a teacher of some kind, a life coach is one thing I really want to be. I want to be an advisor of some kind, and I'm not settling for that. Like I legitimately want to be that, but I feel like my father and my grandfather, I feel like they settled in something they were just good at. Like I'm good at other stuff, like a few things, you know. And if I'm a real good learner, like if you tell me, Nick, you have to bend over and do this and put these tiles here and this and that, I'm going to learn how to do it. I'm going to get good at it. May not freaking like it, but I'm going to get good at it.
Right.
But right now, I'm in this lull of where I want to be and what I want to do for my family. So, like, teacher pay is starting to on the up and up a little bit. But the benefits itself, insurance and retirement and stuff like that, I'll be able to give my children the foundation, a good foundation, you know? And if push comes to shove and I have to go off somewhere far and make a lot more money doing something a lot harder, then I'll do it. Like, hands down, no hesitation, I'll do it. But as of right now, I am doing something I want to do. And if it's good enough, it's good enough. And I want my children to understand that. I want my wife to understand that. I want my friends and family to understand that you don't have to, at whatever age you are, you don't have to settle.
Right.
Anyone could be a dad. Anybody. Yeah. Mama, dad, anybody could be a dad because if you pick up your bootstraps, you put them on. That's what being a man is.
Oh, exactly.
Like, I still believe partially in that old school man is, even though it doesn't look the same nowadays, the mentality is the same. You got to be an animal. You got to be ready to work.
You got to have that drive.
Exactly.
If you ain't got that drive, oh, man.
No. Yeah. If you don't feel like getting up every day and you need to go talk to Jesus or talk to a therapist because you better check yourself.
That's what Papa and them been doing. That's how they get up every morning. That's how they get up every morning and drive from Bogalusa to Wiggins at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. They got the Lord. They know what they need to do.
Exactly.
They got the Lord. The Lord blessed them to have a craft, what they love to do, not only what they get pleasure out of, but you know, they have a service that they give to people. Yeah. And, you know, and I'm sure that brings joy to them as well as it does to others because I'm sure, I don't know what Papa's prices are for this and that, but, you know, there are some places that are more high and more expensive and some are cheaper than others. And, you know, they may be the right person that they need just in that person's budget where they can say, oh, I can go get this done. He might ain't got too many clients today. I might can just swoop on in, get the job done, get out. You know, and you know what? For him, for any papa, any father figure, for anybody in this world that can always lend a helping hand to somebody else, that's always a blessing.
Absolutely.
That's always a blessing, because if you can teach somebody else something that you learned, hey, that's good. If you can help somebody with anything, that's always great, because it only takes one person to open their mouth for you to know about this or that, for you to lend a helping hand. Because like song, lean on me when you're not strong. Oh yeah, because it does get hard, but when you strong and you hold on, and sometimes if it gets shaky, just lean on that brother.
Amen.
Just lean on that brother.
I hear that, and that's what I think. It's why we talk about the new man, the new father. It needs to be more open about how he feels, because if you don't open up to anybody, you're not gonna make any friends.
Right.
You know? And it's funny, because like when I was little, I can remember when all the men were alone and they'd be around a fire, and there'd be a few beers around, or there'd be them talking, somebody smoking, and it was just the men. I'd see them check their shoulders. They'd be looking for the women folk. They'd be looking for the women, because as soon as they was gone, they'll watch the game. They'll be like, they'll talk about that, and then all of a sudden it'll get deeper and deeper and deeper. And the more of them drinks they had, the more they started talking about their feelings.
Right.
And I'm like, why don't you fools just talk about your feelings in the first place? Why we gotta drink and sit here for 7 hours watching the fire burn out? I no one's put wood on the fire, because everyone here is too drunk to put wood on the fire. So I'm having to go get wood out the fire, and I can't carry the logs because I'm a kid, Like, oh man. So I'm tired of it being just single mothers out there, and single parents, because people are rushing into things. Like, I ain't gonna call nobody out, and but I personally know a bunch of people.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of people out there. They say like you. They got they'll say that they want to have a baby, but they don't want to put forth the effort, the having baby effort. They want to put forth the effort of having a baby, but not taking care of the baby.
Yeah.
They want to be like daddy, say I'm going for a pack of cigarettes or some milk and be gone.
That's some old ass milk.
That's some old ass milk, because it ain't coming yet. Shame on them. But there's a lot of people out there like that, man. And like there's definitely some men that definitely do that. Sit around the fire and they talk about their feelings once they get into that. Probably about that 15th beer. If not that second case, depending on if you're in Louisiana. So because as my coworker say, y'all just a different breed. I can't drink with you. Yeah, I said, I understand. It is phenomenal. Yeah. Shoot, I seen some of them drinking the other day at 7:30 in the morning. Yeah, they was up, out and about like some banny roosters. They was up like some banny roosters. I was like, oh Lord, look at them. They gonna be drunk on a Saturday at 7:30. It ain't 8 o'clock yet. They probably ain't scratched the butt, fart one good time, real good. They just said, let me pull up a burr.
A burr.
Let me get a burr. Kind of got a burr like.
Being bald, every good dad's bald. You know what I'm saying? Every good dad is bald of some kind. If every good dad balds, then I'm gonna be a great father. I'm gonna be a great father.
If great dad balds, I'm gonna be a great father.
Yeah.
You heard it here now, folks. You heard it here. You heard it here.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Involvement. There we go. No, I was trying to say being involved. Some dads, they take care of their family. Sometimes they'll be emotionally there and whatever. But when it comes to doing stuff they don't want to do, no involvement.
No involvement.
No, I'm gonna go fishing. Y'all have fun doing that. And I'm like, well, can't you come hang with us today? And then tomorrow we'll go hang with you.
Right.
Or this weekend you can come with us to the water park. And next weekend we can just go fishing. Because apparently that's all good dads want to do is go fishing.
Go fishing.
I mean, I have no problem with it. No qualms. That's why I like fishing. But something else we can do, Daddy. What we gonna do? Well, we can go to the camp. It's too hot. And it ain't a work day. That's how my daddy talked, by the way. So I'm definitely talking about my dad. That's how they talk.
Even he say it's too hot. It ain't a work day.
It ain't a work day. It's too hot. All right. Well, how about we go to Walmart? Too many crazy people in Walmart. And I'm like, why don't we go see your uncle? Or let's go see, Mama over there. Yeah, his mama goes, I ain't wasting that gas go all the way out there. I got work in the morning.
I got work to do tomorrow. I ain't going to mess with him because he ain't going to be on nothing. He just talking out his neck.
Yeah. Oh, boo, when I got my license, shoot, where are you going? What are you doing? Oh, would you like to know, Skip?
Yeah.
Huh? Would you like to know? I'm going to see my woman, or I'm going to the Walmart.
Right. We're the crazy people.
Yeah, I'm going to whoop me up on some crazy people. We'll get off the side of your head, cuz.
Stop being crazy at Walmart.
When you get smacked with a bottle of bleach, you're going to learn quick. You get hit once, and then the aroma hits you. Because, like, you know that cap going to come off.
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
Big Nick throwing it. It's going to be rough. I don't know how we got on that, but...
A bottle of bleach. But involvement, though.
Yeah, involvement. Just being involved. Because if you don't like doing something, go do it anyway. And then after that, look at your wife. Not in front of the kids. Oh, my God. That's the next thing. Arguments and, like... Because there's going to be confrontation.
Right.
But involvement... Be involved. Even if you don't feel like doing it, find something positive in it. Like if y'all go hiking in the caves of Kentucky and Mammoth Cave or something, and you hate walking like myself, find you like this corner with some crystals on it and like just look at the crystals and let your kids wander off, you know? Like just let them go down into the cave and find something positive. You spending time with your family. There's many people, their fathers died prematurely. You know, Jaden lost her father 2 years ago now. And you were talking about how you lost yours. And there's people that don't have them. Like, if they wanted to call them right now, they couldn't.
Right.
Regardless if they liked being at the Mammoth Cave or not. But,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. It ain't always about what you like.
Yeah.
It's about what's doing what's right.
Exactly, man.
Even though you might be god-awful, miserable. Oh, whoa, it's me. Why am I
to
here?
walk through this Mammoth Cave.
But your kids is happy and you get to see the smiles on their faces. Because sometimes... if you can get beside yourself and just think, man, I wish I would have had a dad to take me to the Mammoth Caves like this. I wish I would have had a dad to take me here or there to do this with me, but I didn't have that, you know. So you always want to pay it forward and do bigger and better things than you ever had, than you ever got, as well as received. So you always want to pay it 10 times forward.
Yeah. Denying yourself will always build someone else to tenfold. Easy. Because, like a buddy of mine, I'm not going to say his name, but he knows who he is if he's watching this. He sent a Snapchat to me while he was at work. He said, hey, I couldn't pay my phone bill this month, so my streaks are going to get sent later than they usually are. And he didn't ask for it. He didn't. You know, I said, hey, you still got Cash App? And he didn't answer, so I went ahead and sent it. And then he said yes afterwards. And so I paid his phone bill. You know, I don't have that extra money. You know, I don't have that extra $60. But I know he don't either. And so he has done and will do the same exact thing for me.
Right. And
so denying myself, like that was $60. That's like 3 meals for me, 4 meals for me. I can do without 4 meals. I need to, you know, that was been part of my diet is fasting so many hours and then eating meals and then you know, I can deny those meals so that my buddy can have his phone because he works. Right. It's important. If something happens at work, he needs his phone. He's a fireman as well. If something happens, he needs his phone.
Right, you got to get in contact with him.
If the fool didn't do anything, he sat at home all dang day and played video games. And
probably wouldn't do it.
No, I wouldn't have paid him a dime. We probably would be friends, you know? Because my priorities have changed. I still love playing video games. Don't get me wrong. I still play them every day, if not, you know, every couple of days, whatever. But if I gotta go to work, work's more important. If I got a podcast to film, you know, it's more important. Like, if I skip the gym, I ain't playing video games. I'm big chilling. I am sleeping.
You big chilling.
Big chilling. And so, I love video games, but what they meant to me back then, they don't mean as much now because I have bigger priorities, you know?
Right.
And so, I think that's one thing about being a father, is being involved, is you're gonna have to deny yourself on some things. And I know my dad did for sure. Oh, I never finished on saying that. When I got about 16, 17, I realized, because Dad had lost his job about 17 years old when I was a junior in high school. I wanted to play football and do band. And I was going to. Right. And I get a phone call, Nick, you need to come home. I thought someone was dead. I thought something was wrong. Well, it was almost as important. The oil field crashed in 2016, 2017. And I had to go get a job.
Oh.
I didn't have time. I didn't even have time for band hardly.
Right. You didn't have time for band. You definitely couldn't play football.
No. And I was doing so good. I'd lost a good bit of weight. Coach was like, we need to be below this and at least the end of the summer. And I was below that in 2 weeks. Right. Like I cut weight like nothing.
Right. She was cutting.
And I was balling out because I was getting better and better every practice. And all of a sudden I get a phone call and I'm like, oh no. And so where everyone thought I was going to be and what I was going to do, it completely changed. my involvement in band. I was still in the band, but it was nowhere near as involved. I had to work.
Right, you had to make that dollar.
Yeah, I had to pay for my truck and my insurance. I had to pay for my own stuff now.
Right.
To help my parents for those few extra $100 to go towards bills now. Because now we went from 6 figures to nothing.
Right.
0 for a couple months until they found something else. And it was still only barely anything.
Right.
And then by the time, before the next year went up and he finally got to login, he'd already hit financial trouble and went in the negative. And, bankruptcy and whatnot. And Dad had busted his tail. I mean, 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. So much so that I guess it either inspired or Matthew just said, let's try this.
Right.
And now Matthew's been on his crew for, what, 2 years or more?
I think so.
Yeah, he's been out there a little while. And now Matthew loves it. Yeah. Matthew, he on them George Dick. He's bobbing around in that skidder,
Yeah, he was telling. I was texting him earlier this week because I had 2 Snapchats from him. Well, not 2 Snapchats, 2 Snapchat accounts on my Snap. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I didn't know he got a new one, mm-hmm. but sure enough, he did. And so I was like, well, hey, I said, you got a new Snapchat? And he was like, yeah. He said, I got it a couple months back. And I was like, all right, man, well, how's the job going? He said, man, I've been out here a good minute. He said, I'm about to get some new equipment coming too. Mm-hmm. And I said, heck yeah, man, keep it up. Because I know about like him and your dad always working on mm-hmm. equipment. Dylan be telling me the same thing. Yep. Dylan be talking about he gets some equipment. And I'll be like, Lord, I can only imagine Dylan out there smoking cigarettes, having a whole 10-fold fit with anybody. This ain't right. That ain't right.
Oh my God.
Dylan be cussing like a sailor and everything, and smoking a whole pack in a day, probably. Lord bless.
If I had to talk to anybody right now, it'd be Dylan. I hadn't seen Dylan in a long while, and last time I saw him, it was really funny because one last memories I have of him as a kid and a teenager,
and he's a dad
and now he's a dad.
He's a dad.
And I'm like, and you know what he did? Put his boots on.
Oh yeah.
Got his butt up. Left Subway. Went to work. Now he was working his butt off the Subway.
He was.
Like he was working like every hour they had. He
was a sandwich professional.
Yes.
He was a connoisseur.
That's some bitch baby saying with G today. Like that boy was doing it. And then when I heard he went up to login, right? And I'm like, oh dude, like, people think, they cut trees, middle of the woods. No. Middle of the snow, if as long as those tracks could roll across the ground, you couldn't.
You cut.
As long as that mill's open, you couldn't.
Right.
And oh dude. So I'm real proud of him, especially. I'm really proud of some of the people, and like Dad's raising Matthew to be a father, doesn't even know it. Because the boy and I would not wake up 3:30. I'd be like, I'll see y'all after work spot at 7. Like, I'd be at 7:02. I'll be there.
Just know I'm gonna be there. I might not be up as early as y'all, but I'm gonna get there.
I'm gonna get there. At 6:15, 6:30, I'm gonna wake up. My ass still hanging out of my pants. I'm gonna get into Dodge and we go,
That'd be like them all them oil people I know and working in the up in the plants. Mm-hmm. I'll be like, man, what time y'all gotta be there? They be like, Buck, I tell them I'm gonna get there when I get there. I said, oh, that's how you roll, huh? That's how you roll up in that plant? And he's like, yeah. I ain't gonna say no names because a lot of them talk like that.
I couldn't tell you all the names.
Right, because too many of them talk like that because they say they run the show. They run the show. I said, well, hey, as long as they keep paying, keep on staying, I guess. Mm-hmm. That's all that matters, I guess. If you can do what you got to do and get where you need, that's all that matters, man.
Yeah.
Shoot. Well, man, it's been real. It's been fun. But the fun had just begun. I think we're gonna have to wrap it on up, son. Right. I got another one at about probably here coming up shortly, about 2:00, 2:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to this dude named Curtis. I don't know his last name. I couldn't even tell you what state he is from. Blade Allen. So yeah, we this is all about Blade. Blade has his cousin named Chandler Doucette from the LP area, old Livingston Parish. Mm-hmm. Bless his heart. It's not his fault. It ain't his fault.
It ain't his fault.
But no, all jokes aside, Chandler. But no, Chandler had befriended these 2 guys, I think, on Call of Duty. Mm-hmm. They were playing Warzone. Or they might have been playing Fortnite or something, or Apex. I don't know, something like that. But sure enough, they were all on there. They befriended each other, and I guess they got real good, and they kept playing in the same squads. Well, Chandler ended up inviting them down to the South. Yes, Chandler invited them down to the South. Chandler was going to go see Blade one weekend, and they was like, well, bet, man, like, hey, can we come down too? And he was like, yeah, sure. So these guys done bought a plane ticket. So this is like during COVID. Like I think like probably like I say COVID, probably like 2020, mid 2020.
Yeah.
So like, you still flying places and whatnot. But anyway, these dudes they come down to I don't know. I don't even know where they met them at, but sure enough, they ended up coming to Hattiesburg, and I hear a doop, 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 doop on my door, and I'm thinking it's just Blade and Chandler because I knew that they were coming down for the weekend to hang out and party and whatnot. But now I see these two random guys that I don't even know who the hell they is from Tom, Dick, and Harry, and I'm like, who is this? Who are you? And they're like, oh, I'm Curtis, and I can't remember the other guy's name.
Yeah.
But sure enough, so Curtis, he was wanting to talk on the podcast.
Okay.
And so I told him that we could definitely talk about on the podcast as well as for Father's Day. He said, but kind of like me and you, like I said, maybe even though he didn't have a father growing up all the time, he said he wants to talk about how it feels to be a father.
Yeah, so he is a daddy?
So he's a daddy.
Oh, wow.
And so he said he wants to talk about how it feels to be a dad.
Well, that's cool.
Right. Anyway, it's been real. It's been fun, but the fun had just begun. This has been the Buck Bites podcast with Nick Klep, son. And we hope all you fathers have a great Father's Day. Hopefully your wives is cooking something, but if not, hope you on their grill.
Mm-hmm.
Hope you having a good old thrill with your kids and they bad. I hope that all them diapers is running around and you changing them. I love that. That's funny.
Yeah.
But no, from the 985 to the 601, this has been Buck Bites, son. We out.